All right, welcome back, everybody. We got our second game of this best of three ready and roaring. I was going to say roaring for action, but I guess that didn't make sense at the same time. Maybe I should just stop speaking at this point. But
ready for roaring.
Ready for roaring. We're ready for roar. Okay. Anyways, my name is Goppers, and I'm here with Marks. We're super excited to get into the game. I know you guys are as well, but we want to talk about the last map quite a bit and actually highlight some of the moments as well as to what was happening there. But the last map was pretty interesting, Marks. I know we were stuck on Icebox for quite some time down in that OT, but it turns out Leet, by the way, are the ones who reigned victorious.
Yeah, okay. We just spent a little bit of that break. I had to explain to people that if you type 1237 into the calculator, turn it upside down, it does in fact say Leet. That's what us kids did back in elementary school before cell phones were really a thing. But that's okay. I mean, this last round from Leet, they're able to take Icebox away from Nightblood Gaming's map pick. And quite frankly, I do think that Nightblood Gaming, they looked really good on the Icebox. An unconventional composition coming in from Elite, just trying to, maybe surprise their opponents. But Nightblood Gaming were doing a fantastic job of trying to adapt themselves to some of these weird plays. But, coming down to the Killjoy duels going on there, Zeke not being able to survive off of that first engagement.
Yeah.
Anytime Elite were able to find that first pick, it felt like the rest of the round just kind of fell right into their lap, Scompers.
I think that's the big thing too, right? Like, you talk about obviously, okay, being taken down early, but I felt like a lot of the game was desperately looking for that first pick. But it's also because, again, a map like Icebox is kind of impossible to just get on site and expect that 5-person retake to not work, right? So you do need to look for those early engagements, and that's exactly what they did. We talked a bit about before, right, the adaptations that came through, but let's look at our MVPs for a second. Son of Car, it really popped off for the team here of Lee. I think a big portion of that, again, was the op plays that we got to see, the early engagements that actually shut down Zeke majority of the time. And it was beautiful. I would have to say the same from Amiji too. Obviously, the Bucky Lord. I don't know how they did so well with the Bucky, but it worked out in the end.
Yeah, I mean, Son of Car obviously really being the highlight player coming in from Leet, able to find so much value with operators in hands. But if we move over to Nightblood Gaming, obviously Katashio with the operator was doing a pretty good job at trying to contest Son of Car, able to find so many early picks. Did miss Pyro's shoulder a couple of times, but one of the highlight players for me on Nightblood Gaming as well is actually Jay. I think that Killjoy being a little bit more of a presence, a lurking presence, using that utility to kind of reinforce the B side off of a lot of that Viper utility as well. Jay was doing a fantastic job at really just anchoring things down for their squad and also throwing in enough variability to kind of keep Leet guessing, and also too able to find quite a few kills just on that middle presence, Scoppers.
Oh, yeah. They did an immaculate job at keeping that mid control. And I think the Killjoy was kind of a good fit as well. I felt like a lot of the time when it came to, okay, let's lurk around down in mid, the alarm bot was always there to really capture this team off guard, whether it be that or maybe even the Viper util, right? But for that map 1 comes a map 2, which I'm honestly pretty hyped to see. I love myself a nice map 2. And this is kind of, I would consider the decider of whether or not we go to that map 3 or if we stay stuck here. And we're going to Leet's map pick, I do believe, which is pretty dangerous. It is the map of Lotus. And if you like mid control, it's going to be pretty hard to get it here, as there's 3 sites now. So there really isn't a mid if you would. So
this is going to be an interesting matchup coming from both of these two teams onto Lotus, exactly like you said, because kind of coming into this one, Leet has been looking pretty dominant. So far, they've got an 83% win rate on this map in this tournament, whereas Nightblood Gaming only have a solid 50% coming into this. And so, obviously, Leet, they picked this map for a reason. I'm pretty confident that they're going to be able to kind of show us a little bit of different stuff. I'm going to tell you this now. Don't expect that triple Sentinel composition on Lotus. As much as you might want to try and do that, you need a little bit more initiation, a little bit of that duelist play to kind of come in here. But still, they like to play a little bit of an unconventional squad coming into this one, specifically to bringing in an Astra as their secondary controller. And both of these teams do like bringing in that double controller. I mean, on Lotus especially, I think that makes a lot of sense. But I'm really curious to kind of see where they're going to put Son of Car into this, because their composition doesn't have a jet into it. And, well, if you take away that that operator presence or that primary operator, you know, does this mean that we might see another agent kind of come in and play with that off and try and have that same level of impact, despite the fact that the utility might not support that playstyle as well?
Yeah, and we're speaking in regards to, you know, something weird maybe being put into the composition. So we do see that Gecko as well on the side of Nightblood too. So I do like the differences that we're seeing here and what might really separate these teams from the two. But yeah, with the Astra, I kind of do enjoy the Astra pick. I think it might work well in cohesion with the Raze if we're going for, I know we've seen a lot within competitive play, right? Obviously the gravitational pull with maybe a Raze nade coming out early A, right? So it's stuff like this that I really do think would work well in pushing back any signs of really aggressive engagement. So I'm kind of hoping that's kind of the attack that they're going for, to see the Astra as it is on the newer side of things, of something that you wouldn't necessarily see on Lotus. But I feel like Lotus is still being tested out for what, you know, a good composition would be. It's not like Ascent where it's like the same thing every single time. And, you know, that's what you're going to get every single time.
Oh, yeah. Ascent, and I was going to say Haven as well, but, well, that kind of got yeeted out of the map pool, so not quite the same anymore. But, you know, on top of that, too, given they did change Lotus a little bit, they did expand some of the areas, close off some of those angles. So specifically highlighting that C and B, there's a little bit more defensive potential instead of these narrow lanes where, you know, a couple of paint shells and a little bit of volley usage can really just flush out the defenders there. So it balances it out a little bit more, but I'm very curious to see whether or not we're going to be seeing a Gecko kind of come in there. You talked about it a little bit. Nightblood do like bringing in the Gecko, but of course they also like bringing out the Sky. So far in their match history, they have not actually brought out a Sentinel agent onto Lotus, which I think is really interesting because, especially since there are those 3 sites, you kind of want that Sentinel to more or less just anchor down one of the sites. But I don't know, maybe they're just going to shoot from the hip and kind of run it down.
It wouldn't be the first time I've seen players run it down, but...
Yeah, but maybe. At this stage of the tournament, Coppers, tournament lives on the line.
Sometimes the ego brings you up. All right. Sometimes the ego brings you up, and it all depends. But I'm interested to see. Obviously, composition's kind of leaning out towards where we thought it would. The Killjoy on the side of Fireball. But oh man, Son of Car. By the way, the Chamber player for the composition that didn't even have a duelist is now coming into play here with the Raze. So I am really loving the potential here.
I mean, also too, if you take a look on the other side, Katashio going to be playing the Raze as well. Previously, Katashio was that primary opper, not as aggressive as how Zeke's playstyle kind of supported. I mean, we saw that Reyna kind of pushing out, kind of getting cut down really early on, but was still the one who was entering in onto the site, whereas Katashio played more of a passive role. So that's going to completely flip on its head. Now this Raze has to be the force of pressure. That has to be your first move in onto the sites.
This is big too. When you're looking on the B site, already some pretty aggressive signs coming through from Leet. And this is a map they've picked for purpose, right? So they know what they're doing, and they know how to maneuver themselves around here. Already Paint Shell trying to push back any signs of aggression towards C, but no information at all from both sides.
And we're seeing Leet do Leet things again. I mean, when they were playing defense on Icebox, we saw those 3-person pushes out of the site, try and find that early pick, and immediately just kind of back things up. At this point, Nightblood Gaming, they have to be aware that this is a common occurrence of them, and to just be a little bit more careful that they don't lose anyone early.
Yeah. Pretty honorable to see the amount of respect, though, that both sides are still keeping for each other after a long OT game down in Icebox, but first shot already being taken down, so that's the Raze. Katashio meeting an end. Still, though, I mean, big potential for a retake coming through doors there.
I mean, it's going to be a classic 5-person elite retake here. I'm expecting great things off of what we've seen previously. Let's see how they do.
Yeah, already headshots not being able to be hit there. Son of Car missing out. A majority of the utility as well. Reload comes through, but then regathering with the team 5v3. And you would argue that the numbers would be of a disadvantage, but NBG, they're good at dealing with the low numbers. Unfortunately, not right now, though, as that 1-0 comes through.
Oh, this is going to be close here, but I think Son of Car should be able to get that defuse. Yeah, that's going to be the case. And yeah, once again, Elite, they look really good on these retakes when they've got all of their squad available. It feels like the kind of protocol that they adhere to is, hey, I've got my one. All right, now let's just back out of here. Let's just play that pure numbers advantage. And as a result, we're seeing them be effective at very good trading and always having a couple people alive to defuse the bomb at the end of those rounds. And coming into this next one, of course, they're going to be buying up into here. Fireball actually picking up a Guardian. It's going to be a little bit more expensive, but Nightblood Gaming trying to potentially just overwhelm with presence, but at the same time, Gompers, both of these teams just really like pressing that brake pedal.
I got you. Right there.
After losing the last NBG, put in a pretty uncomfortable position too, which is not
right there.
Something they would want to be in at this stage, especially on Lotus. There's not really much you can do with pistols here unless you go for a full force exec down on A, which seems like that's what they're aiming for here. Mamiji, though. So watching around for Elite to try to gather information. Pushed back now. Not knowing. Oh, slowly working their way in. The vulnerability not doing much damage there. Still a Yeji on the workup. Finding at least some of that damage with the Stinger.
Bring them down.
Yeah, unfortunately left with only 9 HP, and that makes this lower weaponry that much more deadly. Don't even have anything to heal. Spike is going to go down. Elite 4v5 onto this retake.
Though with the Prowler moving forward, and now Pyro looking for some damage of their own. The Bulldog once dropped. Somebody else could pick it up. Oh, they're not expecting this already. Through and through. Excite finally finding a weapon of their own, but everybody else getting fired at from Lee remaining. Yep, headshots already pushed down. NBG somehow finding two. But regardless, Son of Car shutting it down quickly. Katashio, a valiant effort, though, with a paint shell there.
Yeah, excellently placed, and the timing couldn't have just been more perfect. It lined up just as the members of Elite decided to move in onto Tree, and just as they did, they both exploded. And even though we do get to see Elite walk away with that round, their economy is in shambles. Only one person being able to survive, carry that Guardian in. And meanwhile, Nightblood Gaming now, this is their time to strike. Full weaponry coming in, and well, I took a look. Elite, I'm really wondering whether or not we're going to be seeing 3 Buckies on this round. But you know, if you want a bargain bin buy, I guess the Buckies will do their job.
Still looking for a push forward. One player, 1, 2, 3, 7. But still working in cohesion with Mamiji. So once they hear that noise, yep, Viper's util starting to come up, and then that does allow for a quick rotation here under the circumstance that it's needed. But the Bucky's still in hand, the blind coming through, and still managing to find one.
And interestingly enough, like, you know, the Bucky is able to take down Zeke, which is pretty good. The wingman comes out, puts the spike down, and now this is going to be really hard for them to be able to retake. 2 Buckies coming in. Son of Car does have this Guardian, but Yeji only having a Stinger as well. Not a ton of utility to really work off of, as a lot of Yeji's utility is gone. It's going to be tough.
Yeah, they shut down the retake there from Mamiji. 3v4 though. Oh, and just dropping down. Son of Car not having the best time as well. This is perfect case scenario for NBG though. Already having the paint shell placed down. Pyro missing out the shots. 55 health left, so a 1 tap to the body there. Yep, just backing off. Everybody not wanting to be a part of the situation here.
Yeah, and honestly, that's the best case scenario here for Nightblood Gaming. 4 Vandals carried into this next one. And the Elite economy next round should have enough to be able to buy up and make sure that they've got rifles to adequately defend themselves now. But at the same time, like Nightblood Gaming, they've been just feasting on the ultimate orbs. Whether or not they're picking them up on the map, you know, planted the spike, getting the kills necessary, they're all getting really close to the ultimates being online. Question is well, Fireball only 2 away from getting that lockdown on as well. And given the fact that there's nothing really to counter it besides maybe those paint shells, honestly speaking, I think that lockdown could be a very high impact ultimate. It's going to force Nightblood Gaming to kind of push into them, but first, they got to get that ultimate online.
Tashio's looking for blood when it comes to this moment, though Yeji's still fighting by themselves. A good back off, and a good thing is to know, you know, when you can't really win that fight, a 1v3 there, which was looking pretty unfortunate. Losing 2 players on the side of Leet as well.
Now Nightblood Gaming, they know they have the advantage. It looks like they took a page out of Leet's book. You know, group everyone up, be effective on those trades. Just win with your numbers advantage because all 4 members are ready to go, but a little bit of aggression from Leet.
One enemy remaining.
NBG doing work
Gonna plant spike.
with the patience there on the C site, waiting for these players to slowly move themselves out of the way, but still the plant coming down 2-1.
Spike planted.
Which might actually turn 2-2 if NBG can run away with this one. But Momiji, a 1v3 situation. There is a scenario where a clutch could happen, but it's almost impossible.
Yeah, all 3 members of Nightblood just hanging out on Bound. Momiji in ample angle. As soon as the defuse happens, 2 people are going to swing, 1 for insurance. Up against the world. At least tosses the wall up to try and force anything out, but it's just more utility ready to go.
Yeah, I think they're aiming more just to mess up the economy quite a bit.
Toxins going up.
Which honestly makes a bit more sense here as they are going to have to save within the next round, equaling out the playing field just a bit. Momiji, absolutely insane. Hoping an Eagle Peak comes out from Zeke, but there it is. Eliminating both of them at the same time.
Full economy reset, I guess, you know? No one survives after that spike explosion. But honestly, just an excellent job. You know, they thought that with that 3-man push, they would have been able to get someone caught off guard, but instead they just walk into the majority of Nightblood Gaming. As a result, they lose the numbers, and Leet just find themselves on the back foot. A little bit of an awkward buy for Leet while Nightblood Gaming are still feeling comfortable. And now, after all those plants, Excite has Thrash online. Itachi as well with that showstopper, but Fireball does have the lockdown. Could be pivotal once again, but a little bit more caution from Leet this time. Not fully committing to that push out just off the start of the round.
Yeah, NBG looking pretty good regardless too with the Thrash coming out, but it was slight buy from Leet. Hoping they can secure at least 1 weapon here. Under the circumstance, they do engage on the A site.
There.
Oh, and Pyro in such a good position, but immediately spotted out. And now this is going to be nice and easy for Nightblood to take the site.
A hard thing to walk away from too. You've pretty much lost your life. They're sitting down from Pyro. Momiji goes down now as well, so double the controller. Double the loss here. Katashio's, I mean, a pretty smart move to use, especially with that decay coming through. It was a perfect combination. But unfortunately, the radius not there. Still having the showstopper to secure the win. Not going to need it, though. 5v3 situation.
And given the economy of Leet, I don't think that this is the round that you try and invest that lockdown into. You know, it's tough because you didn't really get that much out of your opponent, but, you know, the cards are stacked against you. They're going to attempt this one, but let's see how this one goes. Nightblood Gaming with an excellent post-plant positioning.
One down. Here.
If anything, they pretty much have this one in the bag. Leet just looking for the exit frags at this point. Forgetting about the defusal. Not really caring about it regardless, but yeah, I mean, good round coming through from NBG. They're just messing up the economy, so it's dire for Leet to win this next round.
Yeah, and on top of that too, Nightblood Gaming, they walk away with all 5 of their members intact. No one even lost the spike explosion. Such good awareness from this team, looking for some more trickier angles that Leet could be hanging out in. And they're rewarded with it. We're going to be now seeing a timeout come in from Leet, and I think that this is a good chance to really just make sure that you can maximize what you've got. I mean, when you take a look at the ultimates available, they do have that showstopper for Son of Kar, as well as Fireball having the lockdown, but you know, I gotta say, not having Son of Kar play those longer angles is really just kind of slowed down what has been available. Son of Kar has to go in and try and play these engagements instead of just kind of hanging back. And unfortunately, it hasn't been working out as well. Nightblood Gaming always feel like they have, they're prepared for it. They're ready for it. And they're finding so many kills early on as they just slowly maneuver their way onto these sites. I don't know, Gompers, right now, this is looking really good for Nightblood.
Yeah, it's so odd too, because you know, you talk a bit about the playstyle of Son of Kar, you know, going for those long engagements. I feel like it's going to be a lot harder to, you know, play with the Raze. I feel like we haven't really seen too much potential, you know, being given away here for Son of Kar as well, right? Just utilizing the util to try to get that early damage through, or maybe even then just to push back, you know, these players. There was a good sign of it, you know, when Contagio got stuck in that tether, but
Placing swarm grenade.
that being the only sign of success here. Fireball, though, still waiting for... Oh, they actually knew that it was happening as well.
I think that's just a good utility read at this point. And now the 3-person push is coming out of B this time. Immediately, J kind of goes down, and that's going to send alarm bells for Nightblood Gaming. Oh no, Son of Car pops the showstopper, but immediately the wings are just clipped off. And now all that ground that was taken, Nightblood Gaming, they reclaim it completely. Everything more or less evened out. Sure, they lost J, so the smokes are going to be a little bit weird, but at least they still have a Viper, and now Leet. It looks like they're falling back into their old trappings. They've rotated too early and guessed the wrong site.
The Thrash pulled out. They actually haven't been able to stick one too, but they can recollect that. Utilize it again. Paint shell to throw back, but they did have the lockdown.
I have the spike.
Oh, regardless. Oh, that's actually beautiful. Perfect timing on that one.
Yeah, Mosh able to get that one down. Sure, Wingman doesn't get the spike, but that's okay. Showstopper still available for Contagio. You know NBG want to win this one.
You want more?
Yeah.
Here's more.
And this might be it too. If they can manage to isolate one. Right, there it is. Find the other as well. The flash coming through, but Pyro stays alive just up top. And all they need to worry about is the post plant. Trying to find the one. Luring Zeke out of their own position. Doesn't seem to be working. They know the fake. They see it a mile away. Leet again. Just having a hard time.
And right now, I mean, you know, we talked a lot about Zeke on Icebox being like, oh, the Reyna pick wasn't finding as much value. But this time around, I mean, the dual flashes, it feels like at every single moment that 1337 try to engage in, they're immediately getting flashed, and then someone like Contagio can just walk in and find a couple of kills right off the bat. And this is why you kind of bring that double initiator. Obviously, this is the attacking half here, so not having a Sentinel, not the worst thing in the world. But still, this is looking really darn good for Nightblood Gaming. Once again, we see that Leet are forced onto an awkward buy. Won't have full weaponry coming into this next one, and well, all of their ultimates got expended on the last round, and it's still not looking fantastic for them. Nightblood Gaming are kind of running away with this half.
How easy is it going to be to run away from this one too? At least this round with so many players moving up down in mid with Leet. Actually backing off the sign of that guiding light.
And that's the thing too. Now that Nightblood Gaming are aware that it's pretty common to see that 3-person push out, they just use a couple of flashes, and honestly, Leet have no choice but to really just back off, whether or not it was the guiding light or the Dizzy. And oh boy, bullets are just going to be spraying out.
Yeah, still nobody's life lost though. I think that's for the best right now. Pyro and Momiji getting close to being able to utilize those ultimates. So if Momiji can actually pull that one through here on the A site, they might just be able to regain their composure. Well, there it goes, right? Sudden execution down on the A site with tons of players regathering here for Leet. Oh, this is not looking good. Showstopper pulled out. Momiji going down. And up to J to take themselves out of the equation, but the Viper's pit set down on the side of NBG. It's looking good for them, honestly. You would think that discomfort is more on the side of Leet, despite this being their map pick, but so many players down in the extremities here.
Viper's pick going to be the biggest problem right now. Leet have already made their way on the site, but so much utility for Nightblood.
Yeah, and a big peek forward. Son of Car finding one of their own. NBG 2v2 situation. Okay. Leet finding the victory there.
Whew, and once again, just as a reminder, this was a little bit of a save coming in from Leet. Their economy was not the best, but in a weird way, the Viper's pick coming in from Nightblood Gaming kind of favored the weaponry that they had. You know, they didn't have to try and fight those long angles where the rifles were going to reign supreme. And well, once again, they still are really just believing in strength in numbers. Apes strong together, walk in together, find the kills, and everything is going to be fine. Leet, they're able to pull themselves together, will be able to buy up into this next one, and now they've got 3 more ultimates online, while Nightblood Gaming, they invested heavily to try and win that last. Unfortunately, they fall short, but their economy isn't quite over just yet.
Imagine you've lost one. Now you're trying very, very hard to keep it up. You can see NBG, they're fighting like their lives depend on it, which... I mean, I guess in a way it does. I guess in a way it does, because they lose this one, they're out. So they've been putting a lot of time out into the game in general. I believe they put the most within Icebox as well. So, like, they really are trying their absolute best.
Yeah, and honestly, it is just kind of good. Stop the momentum before it kind of goes away, because, you know, obviously we saw Elite take the timeout, and then suddenly they're able to win a round. So Nightblood Gaming say, okay, let's slow them down, figure out what's going on, because clearly Elite now are trying to do a better job at reading what we're doing, and so it's just a read on a read on a read on a read. And so slowing things down, taking a second, and really just pulling your heads together, cool it off a little bit, regroup, re-strategize. And let's see what they've got cooked up. It might be a bit more aggressive towards B this time. But very common stuff with those early flashes to at least make sure that there's not going to be an aggressive push.
Toxins going up.
Elite don't care at this point. If anything, they're trying to move up to try to deny any space taken up from NBG. Already first engagement sought out by Son of Car. That's going to be beautiful. Paint shell saved in their pockets for later.
And that's what they've been wanting these last couple of rounds. Every single time they've pushed up, they've just immediately gotten flushed out by a flash and forced to back up, not able to find a pick. But that time they're able to walk away with it. And now you can tell Nightblood Gaming, they're so much more cautious about how they're going to try and approach this. They have to use that utility to re-clear some of these areas while the emphasis is on B, and Pyro finds one.
Right there.
Already 2 down on the side of NBG with a nice first pick down towards A. So now how do you come back from this? I mean, they have possibility to plant. Jay's looking for some sort of fight, but if Jay went down, the spike goes down as well. They're still looking for more. Slowly working their way around. They know somebody's there. Excite, unfortunately, left alone with low health at the very least, but still leads. I mean, taking advantage of the situation. TP outward, but the Lear finds the location, not even knowing what's going on. Jay, oh my gosh.
Oh, you know what they say about how, like, if you like cover some of your senses, your other senses become stronger. It kind of felt like that happened to Jay, because, like, couldn't hear anything, and it was like, oh my goodness, and then all of this visual stimulus was presented in front of him, and he's able to find a couple of kills just in the chaos of it. But I like this a lot better coming in from Elite on this last round. We saw them being a little bit more comfortable about just kind of walking in, taking the map control space, and then, you know, going back to their basics where we've got our pick, just back it up, regroup it together, and then push towards it. And to be fair, Nightblood Gaming don't really have a solution for when that kind of happens to them. So they have to be a little bit more cautious, or at least try and think about how they can re-engage it, because once again, they're sticking together.
They're doing a lot better at, you know, obviously not feeding themselves to the crowd there for NBG. Kind of following up with what you said, but Katashio manages to find themselves slowly working forward, and the mollies are insane. They pretty much have kept this team back. Waiting for the retake there. Elite now.
Spike planted.
Pretty decent spot. I mean, Son of Car could pretty much just push past this. Yep, the smoke not being an issue anymore. But then again, Cosmic Divide is there. The Prowler trying to find maybe more than that, but still Showstopper goes down. The ultimate loss. And it's up to Excite and everybody else to find something. NBG 2v2 situation. And again, some of that vulnerability taking place. Alarm bot set down, and they know that they're there. They're just gonna end up going for it, keeping it stuck down. J. Kroll! Reposition from Fireball that keeps them alive there.
Fantastic stuff from Fireball. And on top of that, too, on the last map as well, Fireball was doing an excellent job at just kind of like watching the backs of their teammates. And usually when you have a Sentinel player, they're the ones who you play off the utility, you play that information game, but the level of teamwork that's kind of coming in here has just been fantastic. Man, that's kind of also a feels bad for Son of Car. That's going to be 2 showstoppers now that we've seen him pull out and immediately just lose without even getting the rocket off. And feels kind of bad, but you know, one of them will eventually hit as that ultimate does get reset. But now Elite, they're feeling more confident into this. They're going back. They're actually swinging back to their old strategy of that push out of B. Well, Nightblood Gaming, it's just going to be a hard rush onto A to take a lot of that space right off the bat.
Time to hunt.
Trailblazer. See, the A site's clear. And NBG have lost the lead as well with the teamwork from Lee. They're seeing kind of that as well, like the grouping coming through from the lurk back here. Oh, and they're going to catch them out so nicely as well. I mean, the plant has been set down, but see now some of the damage actually taking place. They need to start refocusing everything they have up to this flank now. They're not even catching up to one either. Now they have to try to contest where Leet is to try to regather that Thrash. It's not going to be easy though. Son of Car slowly working their way in. At the same time, Leet just winning out the battle left and right. 2v3. As soon as it started, but now it's up to Katashio to keep this one in the vulnerability, and now being taken out regardless. Pyro, the fusel coming through.
And I think that this is the strength of pushing those 3 people out so early on, especially too if they're not doing anything really to kind of counter that or push you back, because they just completely go on the flank, and honestly they take the fight completely off site. They understood that, you know, based on how the plays have been going, Nightblood Gaming, as soon as they get the spike down, they're kind of more comfortable actually backing off. We haven't actually seen Nightblood really go for that B site at all, specifically for that reason, because on the A site as well as the C, you can play some of those farther back angles, and every single time on the post plant, they hang out at Mound. They hang back completely, just kind of at Link on A. And as a result, well, we just kind of completely catch him off guard, looking the wrong way. An excellent little adaptation. And Jay Cruel already down as the 3-person advancement works out on A.
Here.
Advancing forward. Although here, okay, Seekers being prepared to be pushed out. Not seeming like it is just yet, though. NBG in a good spot, finally finding themselves that advantage. Seems like it doesn't matter regardless. NBG slowly getting everybody taken out one by one. Yeji, nice shot. Still needing to find more. Trailblazer might actually make this a bit more difficult. Reload. Oh, I thought they were going to push that, but still, one more was left for the taking. I thought there Yeji might be able to eliminate at least Zeke, but yeah, round 11. Going back towards NBG.
Yeah, and honestly, we're looking at a very potential 6v6 there. I thought that was an excellent little play by NBG at that point. They decide, well, okay, they want to flank us or they want to do this. We're just going to push up and take a lot more space, not just kind of back off the site immediately. And it works out perfectly for them. They catch Leet in these awkward positions where they're trying to take gunfights, but they're just clearly unprepared for them. And the pistols win out, which is a little bit surprising, but hey, you land those shots and it's going to be great. Now a util dump outside of A, a little bit more classic Lotus gameplay, but with the information that Fireball gets, immediately the call gets made to rotate here, and Nightblood Gaming, they aren't really slowing down.
Definitely not the thing that they want to do firsthand. And I think now they're kind of forced to slow down with the amount of util we're seeing set down. Pyro leaving a smoke to try to create some of that coverage, but a lockdown set up by Fireball just in case they end up moving towards the B site. Regardless, they're in a pretty good spot, right? They have that lockdown for both sides.
Yeah, but look at this. Nightblood Gaming, I mean, it was so fast at the start of the round. They still have so much time to work with. I like how Momiji is pushed out here. If the call isn't made preemptively to make that rotation happen, but at least the Trailblazer caught out. And yeah, Leet, they actually just stand their ground, which is the right move. This still is going to be tough for Nightblood Gaming to move in, especially with that lockdown in hand.
Yeah, the original idea was just to keep that Viper there for stall. Under the circumstance, that 30-second timer hit, but it seems like the B site being the site to hit the lockdown, though. Preoccupying quite a bit of space there, so regardless, they're going to have to get themselves away. Detain, now the last one alive. And a beautiful shot coming through from Leet. I mean, that was a spectacular hold.
No mind games today, says Leet. Fell for it a couple of times, But this time around, not going to be the case. Just an excellent read, just to slow down on things. And, well, Yeji just on sight, pressure of the lockdown. It was so drastic, and it's just easy cleanup. Then Fireball walks in and is able to find a couple of those kills. And, well, we're seeing a lot of similarity between this and Icebox. Now, 7-5 for Elite as they swap over onto the attack. But this time around, they do have a duelist. They do have a... Well, actually, no. Sorry, I take it back. They don't really have any flashes still. Let's see how this one kind of plays out for them, Compers.
I think it's going to be a pretty hard round to win. I think regardless, though, it's at 50-50 at this point because we did reset here, 7-5. Now we're reaching that second half, but already a good stall out from J. Cruel, so it's looking promising, you know, on the defense here from NBG, and Son of Car literally just does not care. And I love this, the quick rotate moving forward, breaking down door, just to get to the other side.
Again, with all the fury in their wins, they're able to get that spike down nice and quick, have ample time for, honestly, getting themselves set up, and look at this, a lot of utility kind of comes in to chase them out.
Son of Car is just waiting for the perfect moment of strike, guiding light there, right click, unfortunately does not hit, but NBG find at least that one player advantage, still trying to move away from it. They're lucky enough that it finally hit there, missing out on the shots. Elite may have just been able to hold their own so many times where NBG were close enough to get the defusal, and it just could not happen.
Yeah, I was watching that counter. I'm like, okay, yeah, the defuse is just gonna happen. Nobody's there, and then just one shot lands, and it's just all over. I think maybe 3 people on the spike were just taken down as they were trying to stick that defuse. And so this time around, flipping the script, Elite, they pick up that pistol round. And I'm not gonna lie, this is not what we had seen similar on Icebox, where they played really slow, played things to a T, just kind of played the information game. That was very fast and rambunctious. And it was all thanks to a little bit of theatrics coming in from Son of Car, using those blast packs to take so much room. And already, I mean, so much room already taken by Elite. They should be able to get the spike down fairly quickly.
Yeah, they've worked around J. Cruel, but I think that's good for J. Cruel at this point too, right? So just waiting for the team to come by, keeping themselves alone. Nobody actually knows where J. Cruel is, getting caught out though by Elite. They're stuck in a pretty awkward position here.
Enemy remaining.
Down in this eco round. Yeah, they're pretty much just running it down. If you're Elite, you're feeling pretty comfortable with a round like this one. A flawless as well.
And man, I know we had our questions about Son of Car now playing the Raze, was looking so good on the operator, and then swaps onto this Raze role, but quite frankly, the movement has been phenomenal. The space taking has been fantastic, and just the aggression levels, that's what you need out of your Raze. And already just being able to pick up so many more kills on this attacking half. And look at this, also too, prying a Vandal in. Nightblood Gaming, this is going to be their chance at redemption. It's looking very similar to that first half. Just yielding 2 rounds to Elite, but they were able to start to pull things back. An already early utility dump from Elite to it. Lush Excite out of that angle.
Oh, they could have done so much with that too. Son of Car was thinking about just running it down, but yeah, that's Viper's util. Just pretty hard to get by, but they do back up here from Elite. And again, I like that. I like the fact that they have a pretty good respect towards NBG.
At the same time, though, they do lose quite a bit of that utility, the Raze utility, which has been kind of the star of the show lately. And that Dizzy is just so annoying, but has been so effective from Excite. Now just in pretty clean engagement, going to be onto the site, but already Son of Car has made their way all the way around.
So here as well, the Molly's trying to stop the plant from happening. Not too good of a job. Actually stalls for just a second. Jay stuck up top, a nice off angle to try to maneuver themselves inward, but then again, having
enemy remaining.
You know, these Spectres not going to make it any easier. Can't seem to pick up a rifle. One of their own, but regardless, yeah, Pyro stuck in a 1v4. So an ace, quite impossible in a moment like this one, but you know, round taken back by NBG.
Team ace.
Yeah, and I think that like the level of aggression that we've seen on those last couple of rounds, it doesn't work out as well when Nightblood Gaming are starting to expect it a little bit more. And that's something that we've really said, like given kudos to Nightblood Gaming on these past couple of, the last map as well as this one, where they're trying to adapt, they're trying to figure out the play style of Leet and then internally start to counter it. And I think that that was an excellent example. They started to realize on the attack, it's very likely Leet are going to try and take a lot of space, so just kind of slow things down, wait until the squad is all regrouped before you try anything. Fortunately, the Nightblood Gaming economy is not fantastic, and wow, NBG takes quite a bit of HP out of Katashio right off the bat with wall banging with that Odin. And yeah, that gamble from Nightblood Gaming, unfortunately not getting much besides a little bit of presence onto A, but a lot of utility gets used.
Fast move in forward from Son of Car. Kind of a play that we've seen time and time again. How well is that going to work out? So much damage, luckily enough. Being able to win the shots, another one. And Jay goes down. Son of Car is just immaculate. It's the constant win whenever they go on the entry there. But Mamiji, with the Odin, they've heard the noise, though. Katashi is not looking to push this one just yet.
Yeah, at this point, I'm wondering if the call for Nightblood Gaming is just to kind of back off, given the fact that so much of their squad is just spread out. By the time they actually regroup, it's going to be very tough to go against. And yeah, it looks like they will be just backing out of that round. I mean, right now, Leet, this is a very different pace that we saw them playing with. And so far, it's been very clean execs onto Lotus. They looked better on defense for Icebox, and their offense left something to be wanted, but so far, no flashes, no problem. It's been pretty clean from this squad.
Yeah, it's not looking like they're making any mistakes just as of yet, but I feel like a big portion of that really is Son of Car. I mean, they drive this attacking side. I genuinely feel like, especially with the amount of space that they've been able to take up, we saw that 2K win, right? Like right here, taking another headshot in seconds after being able to clear sight. That's got to be probably the best that you can get out of a game like this one.
Yeah, and we're hoping that eventually Son of Car just needs one more ultimate orb, that showstopper's going to be online, and this is going to be the one that gets value for Son of Car. I'm hoping. Son of Car deserves it at this point.
Yeah.
But yeah, Nightblood Gaming now taking a timeout as we do get to see Leet hit that double digits. And at this point, like, you have to be asking yourself, how do you want to deal with how Leet have been playing? Because it's very difficult to kind of get a read onto it. Every single time they try and push out, every single time Nightblood Gaming on the defense try to push out a little bit more, they're just met with a lot of utility from Leet. And then Leet seemingly back off, but as demonstrated in that last round, they're ready to re-hit it. And maybe that lends itself to how they kind of played on Icebox, where they were running with that 3 Sentinel composition. Don't need utility, we just win the gunfights in neutral, because it's still very terrifying when they decide to engage onto the sites. I want to see a little bit more aggression from Nightblood Gaming. I think that they can kind of take the lessons learned from Leet on the defense and kind of push out, take a lot more room, and find them on the back foot. Take out a couple of their members, because that's when we start to see Leet crumble a little bit more.
I'll find you. Still waiting.
I like this, though. Despite like the constant hits that they've hit on the C site, now they're expecting a push to be pushed out from NBG, kind of conditioning them almost to beg for this. Like that's exactly what they're going to do, though, with the smoke coming up. Gives them a sense that maybe that's not the site they're going to hit. The A site, though, coming free for a pick-off on Katashio. If Katashio can take this one, though, might as well be NBG's game to take over still. Already the first one down. Second Son of Car immaculate with the shots.
Oh no, uses the showstopper. Nobody's going to be in sight, so this one might not get any value unless it hits the Viper up top. But yeah, not going to be the case. Regardless, though, it's going to be spiked down. Excellent engagement by Leet.
Yeah, kind of in awkward positions here too, though, especially with Jay by themselves. They do have paranoia. Let's not kind of forget that. I think this is perfect time to utilize that paranoia behind this team, right, and just completely clear out whatever's going on in tree. And I think that's exactly what they're going to do. Unfortunately, wrong spot to be used. A little bit further. They were not expecting the whole squad to be propped up inside a tree there.
Oh, man.
Oh, my gosh. It's like, oh man, that's gotta hurt.
It's like showing up fashionably late to a party, you know? You show up and like everybody's there and they all stare at you as you walk in and you're like, oh, I thought everyone would be here around that time, but no, looks like I'm in the wrong. My bad. Yeah, I mean, Bleat, what's more to say about that last round?
Yeah.
They just kind of, they feel like a steamroller right now, where as soon as they just decide, okay, we're going to go over here, we're seeing Son of Car just kind of force their way into the site, take so much room, and run down the competition. One of the things that I liked about Leet's defense was, you know, they find that early pick and then they might back off a little bit in order to keep everybody alive. It's just the thing is Nightblood Gaming, they're trying to do that, but unfortunately, the members don't walk out alive. And that gives Leet such an advantage in being able to escape. And I mean, they're all grouped up as well. Jay, able to escape here, does have that sheriff, but is able to at least pass that information along. So Nightblood Gaming, they will start to rotate and reinforce that A site. Question is though, Leet, they could just go through Link and hit that B site. Only a Gecko hanging out there.
Yeji has so much util for this too. So, you know, for Leet, I think this is pretty good on their part. Son of Car just never loses on the engagements, to be honest with you. It seems like so far every single fight that has been taken from Son of Car has just been won out by them. But Paranoia, kind of blinding them on that side. And sticking them into a corner. Nice sandwich in from NBG though. Yeah.
30 seconds left.
Yeah, fantastic stuff. It just shuts down all momentum, but Fireball able to at least get one. Still though, Leet dedicated to the A site.
Oh no.
Last player
I should have checked behind them, but it doesn't matter regardless. You got Leet, the whole entire team
Spike planted.
is ready and prepared for any sort of refract potential that needs to be taken about, but it's up to Excite now. To try to clutch up the round. The aim, absolutely insane.
Thrash.
But the post plant, yeah, definitely going to be harder. You still got so much, actually not a lot of util to utilize here, but this is the best part about being that Gecko. Getting the defusal, but the timing just a tad bit off. And the second one there, yeah.
Fantastic stuff, and like that, Leet, they're on match point. If they win this one, they will be able to advance, eliminating Nightblood Gaming from this tournament. 2 spots still available for the taking, and it does feel like Leet are making a real solid case that they deserve one of them. Excellent little micro play there as well, understanding that that Gecko was alive, make him swing around, shoot the haunt, and then the double swing comes together. Leet, when they work together, it's just been working out, and now a bit of a scavenge buy from Nightblood Gaming. A lot of Guardians coming in here, but it's going to be with thunderous momentum that we once again see Leet play this A engagement.
It's so interesting too to see that they yet again just still don't apply as much pressure on the A site for NBG. They've seen this team hit this A site continuously. Now we're going to be able to see the cause and effect of it again. Still the lockdown going to be able to push this team back even further. I think it might give NBG, honestly, a bit of an up. You know, taking the time to think about what they need to do from here on out. But yeah, Spike being planted now as well. The Nightfall really taking place. Takashio not given a chance from Pyra. That's gotta hurt.
Yeah, Jay finds that one, and suddenly this is looking a little bit worse. Thrash is going to come out as well. A lot for NBG to work with.
Oh, and they didn't get anyone. I haven't seen a Thrash hit somebody in so long as well. It's getting harder and harder each and every time. Now to really find somebody, but right there, Zeke trying to spray through, and this might be it for NBG, but they don't get it. They still need the defusal. It's up the fireball here. Headshot not hit, but NBG have it. Luckily enough, keeping themselves in the running.
Barely staying alive there. They have to invest so much. I mean, it is kind of do or die. The tournament lives on the line. They use the Thrash, they use the Showstopper, and sure, Thrash doesn't get much, but it at least pushes people off site. That is going to be more than enough. Down to the wire, but Zeke able to find that headshot. And NBG, they have to keep themselves going. 5 more rounds, they can force that overtime and potentially force out map number 3. But Leet still more than enough money in their pockets for one more good round. Top of that too, a Cosmic Divide available for Pyro. They've got everything they need and more in their pockets to be able to win this.
Yeah, after losing that last round. NBG just feeling better and better about the situation. Yeah, she's just on top of it. The knowledge in this guy's brain. But NBG, they've been doing a good job at, again, trying to read into the situation. I think here, especially with Excite waiting to gather more. Already 3 blinds coming through, but they missed out on the shots. Son of Car, absolutely unstoppable, despite the 2 health left.
But just like that, Zeke finding Fireball completely evens out, if not giving the advantage to NBG. So many members of Elite are so low. Especially with the weaponry, and they would go down here. Cosmic Divide gonna get invested. This one ain't over just quite yet. Elite now looking for the opportunity to potentially engage yet again, but actually, with that quiet down, gonna swing back over to B.
30 seconds left.
3v3. Son of Car low. But I think there's so much potential in a play like this one, right? They push in together, though Pyro taken down. Numbers diminishing ever so slightly, but the ego there. Now they just need to learn this peak. It's beautiful from Amiji, and a flank coming around. This isn't over yet. It might be up to up at least the Son of Car at this point. They've managed to at least take out
One enemy remaining.
the defusal. They're coming through from the wingman, but excited to see what's happening. He has no idea, but still has an understanding as to what they need to be watching. 8 to 12, slowly working.
Oh my goodness. Nightblood Gaming, first of all, Excite, keeping that head on a swivel. Once again, like I said, had no idea potentially where that last agent was going to be coming from. Here's the footsteps, just as the last second, is able to get that cursor over and finds the kill. Excite clutching it up for the team. Nightblood Gaming making their way closer, but I mean, once again, Gompers, you look at that scoreboard. Elite have been dominating thus far, and let's hope that these last couple of rounds haven't started tilting them a little bit, because if they start to let it slip, then this could very easily snowball in Nightblood Gaming's favor. We know how even these teams are, and if they give that opportunity up, Nightblood Gaming really could make a run at forcing that overtime.
The silence is almost deafening. But I like this. They kind of made noise over towards C, expecting that U tilt up to happen, which gives them a lot more clearance over towards A.
It's going to be such an easy plant for them as well. Almost no resistance. At least Elite doing their due diligence, clearing things out here. Don't want to gamble, but this is giving additional time for Nightblood Gaming to get set up. Son of Car uses the Showstopper, not going to find anything that time either. But at least guarantees that they should be able to go, and a Viper's Pit just for good measure. This is looking good for Elite.
Looking to attempt something big here. Everybody actually hiding in the smokes, in the extremities as well. But the Astra Util, we've seen how well this worked out before. Pyro finding one of their own, but it's up to Son of Car. The 3v2 situation. Low off of Katashio, just having to get inside the smoke of Momiji. They see the next one. But it's not enough still, though. Smoke down. Another one for the taking, and it's Fireball with a clutch to keep them in the game and in the tournament as well. The map winners and the series winners is going to be Elite. The name is so great. I love saying that name.
There it is. I knew it was going to get you eventually, but wow, what a series. Elite up against Nightblood Gaming or Nightblood Converse. And, you know, you predicted that it was going to be a close one. I would say Icebox a lot closer, but just in that last second there, you could tell Nightblood Gaming were starting to heat up a little bit more. Overall, what a performance coming in from Elite. Son of Car showing just how impactful of a player they are. Not going to be just stuck on the operator all the time. Doing a fantastic job at playing that entry, garnering that space, and pushing the opponents back. Not to say anything away from Nightblood Gaming, though. They had such good ideas. We're doing so many counters. And yeah, those dizzies were absolutely brutal coming in.
It was pretty good off the side of Excite, honestly. I wasn't expecting the Gecko to work out so well, but I think the majority of it really was like kind of just utilizing it at the perfect moments. Like, we did see that 3-player blind that had happened to get them up to that moment to get that 8-3, right? So I think NBG definitely putting in a valiant effort to be able to win this game. But as it comes for Elite, I mean, again, a big congratulation on their part. You got 12 first kills, a big portion of that being Son of Car. And they've really put in the work with that gameplay, with the Raze duelist, the initiation. It really felt like it was their map, and I could see why they picked it.
Yeah, and also too, it's crazy. We can now see the agents, which is fantastic because they did not have any flashes. They did not have any flashes on Icebox. They did not have any flashes on Lotus, and yet still they're just able to win things out. I mean, a lot of their strategy just kind of relied on Son of Car doing a fantastic job at the entry, but then they always just stick together like glue and are just so effective at mowing their opponents down, showing us a very fast style on Lotus, whereas they played very reserved onto Icebox. I think that this victory by Leet was just honestly just so well deserved.
It truly was. And again, it really comes down to, you know, how much do you want this? And it felt like both teams wanted this really, really badly, right? They were putting their everything into the game. And listen, I wouldn't count NBG out just yet. They did amazingly. And I'm really hoping that we get to see a lot more of them in the future. But as of right now, it's Leet taking that victory. Well deserved as well. Son of Car, I know, has got some fans as well, because I was looking at the chat earlier, and let's just say they were really feeling Son of Car. And rightfully so. I mean, this player has tons and tons of potential to really move up within the Valorant world. I mean, if they keep playing like that throughout the qualifiers, then I think we're in for something pretty exciting.
Yeah, and once again, just to give a little bit of an update on how this whole thing works, there are still 2 slots left in this lower bracket for some of these teams to be able to qualify for challengers. At this point, YFP and SAD have already qualified to make it into the thing. But of course, it's not over yet for Elite. They're going to be moving up and now have to face the Glazers, which, quite frankly, they've been looking really solid in this tournament, Gompers.
They truly have. I think, again, pretty big potential, you know, for the games moving forward. I think it definitely gets tougher and tougher as you go on, but it just leads to more exciting Valorant gameplay, to be completely honest with you. And I mean, who doesn't love something exciting? But I think there is a second best of 3 that we do have to watch as well. And you pretty much said it yourself. It is going to be Glazers versus the team that we actually had win today, which I believe is Leet. So if you guys are, you know, excited for that one, please go grab some popcorn. We will be back after a short break for more Valorant North American Challengers.
come through with it again. They know that I got spirit with a pen. Don't know why they try to compete when they know that in victory it's never gonna end. Them and a week, that's why they could never speak. They ain't like me, I take it to the peak. Different type of steeds that I breed. Wheel up on the mic, they won't get one of these. Please, I don't wanna hear no talk from them. I don't wanna see nothing at all from them. They can't do it like me. So all I wanna see really is a round of applause from them. Vibes in the air, we caused it again. Life isn't fair, but we rolled it again. All of my teams being ready for the war, there's no warning for them. Tell them again, I ain't here to make up no